Ryan, you ready to declare starting quarterback?
Didn't take long. Yeah, again, second weekend. I think probably what we're going to do is, get through the weekend and then on Monday probably make a final decision. But the guys are competing really, really well. I think Justin's practicing at a high level now, and had a nice couple of really good days here. So we'll get through the weekend. We got to name captains here in the next couple of days as well, and then we'll get back here on Monday and probably have an update for you. But I'd like to make the decision and make the announcement on Monday.
How do you feel overall about the position? The guys competing for the top job, the depth. Just overall, how do you feel about the quarterback position?
Good. I feel good. I feel better than I did last week at this time. I think the guys are getting more and more reps under their belt. I do think Justin's taken a stride in the last couple of days. And the last week, he's moving the team nicely. He's taking care of the ball better in the last couple of days, throwing the ball on time. So improvements there, and leadership is improving. We got a padded practice tomorrow. Padded practice on Saturday, and then we'll regroup and then go ahead on a Monday. So.
Right, just continue with the quarterbacks there. How involved is Chug in that backup race? It seemed like we saw him getting some stuff with the twos a little bit there.
Yeah, Chris has been here now, and for a year and a half, I guess. Or maybe I guess less than that, probably about a year. Well, it seems longer than that. You think about last August, I guess he came in, huh? Yeah, but he's been here a while. He knows what's going on. He's actually had a chance to change his body in the off season, and he's done a good job. He's done some really good things. Had a sprained ankle, so he missed a couple practices. But yeah, he's battling. He wants to play. He's not here just to kind of take up a spot. I think his leadership's been good. He's been throwing the ball well, and I've been impressed so far with his approach and how he came into this camp.
You talked about the running backs and one of the backup last couple times you've been in here. Is part of that just because Master has been out? He seems like a guy who could be top of that list for you.
Yeah, hard to tell because he just hasn't practiced very much, and so really don't have an evaluation on him with the spring and now. He's getting there, but he still isn't full go. You got DeMario, and then you got the two young guys. But the biggest thing is going to be ball security in the end. Who do we trust? We give the ball to him. And again, right now there is no backup running back. I think all three guys, and four guys with Master when he gets healthy want that spot, but they got to learn to take care of the ball. And we got to be able to trust them.
Raising your voice much today?
Yes. This is practice 11 camp voice right here. So I apologize.
Second row left, Ari. Hey Ryan, I know with whatever's going on with Austin that Chris Olave is going to need to step up. I mean, I was just wondering with the way that he ended last year. I know he missed some time in the spring, but is he looking like somebody who could be a number one receiver on this team right now? I mean, where is he at?
Yeah, I think so. I think he finished that way last season. But it's different when you come in and, you're counted on right from the beginning. It's easy, not easy, but it's one thing to come in the backup role, the closer role, but it's another thing to be the starter. And so in this offense, we're looking for ones. We're looking for starters. So last year, again, when you think back and Terry and Johnny, they both started. KJ and Paris, they both started. Ben and Austin both started. So, Chris is practicing right now at a starter level, and I think that's been good for us. We'll obviously want to get Austin back here in the next week or so and solidify that Z position.
You look at the trajectory of some of the receivers who've gone through this program. Guys like the three that left last year went off their entire careers and really came on those senior years. And development is obviously always a huge part of it. But when you see a kid who comes in and flashes and is special as a freshman, does that set him apart just from a coach's standpoint of like, wow, that guy, we can tell already the second he got on campus there was something different about him. Does Chris have that?
Yeah, he does. He does. Right from the jump, you could see his ball skills, the way he could track a ball down the field was off the charts. But he was 165, I think, when he got here, maybe even less. And so we were just worried about him holding up. When you look at the size of Terry and Paris, how big they were compared to Chris when he first got in here, we realized he had a lot of work to do physically. But he's strong. He's not real thick, but he is really strong. And he came in, I'm pretty sure he bench pressed 225 like 7 times when he first got here, like 165, which is unique. And so he has power. And then when he put on the weight and got stronger and changed his body, now, we think he's an every down receiver.
A little bit that you kind of found him on accident a little, like the way that this all planned.
Yeah.
You were involved in it personally, and now this is a guy who could be a big change in your offense.
Yeah, really cool. Really cool. To see where he came and to watch that evaluation and see. We saw something in the spring, and obviously didn't play his junior year, but then saw his first couple, 2-3 games, and recognized his skill and his talent level, and his film was off the charts. Had some coaches go out and watch him play, and then to see a guy who really wasn't that highly recruited turn into a really good receiver is pretty gratifying, yeah.
Right next door, Bill.
When you're trying to evaluate the quarterbacks and how they're moving the offense down the field, just with the way you practice, how much room is there, maybe particularly for a guy like Justin, to sort of use his athleticism and freelance as you're trying to balance, protecting them and managing what little depth you have at that position?
Well, I think in this offense, you don't want to be paint by numbers with an athletic quarterback. You want to have him. You want him to have the ability to kind of make plays with his feet and ad lib a little bit, but also stay within the offense. I think that's the key to a guy like that. When you think of the Russell Wilsons of the world and mobile quarterbacks who can create, I think you want to give them the opportunity to play within the offense, but then also make plays with their feet. And I think Justin gives us that opportunity. And but at the same time, he's smart. He's going to know when he's going to have to put his pads down and run, and then also when he has to, get down, slide, or get out of bounds, and that's part of playing quarterback.
Are you able to get a feel for that, though, with the way I'm assuming they're in the black non-contact jerseys, because I know you want to protect these guys. How much of a feel are you able to get for his ability to do that with the way you practice?
Do what? Create?
To create, yeah.
Yeah, no, you get a feel for it. You get a feel for it. I mean, it's not always perfect. Sometimes Chase Young or Jonathan Cooper will come in and be screaming sack, but we'll let the play go just to see what happens. And then, kind of create from there. And you get to see it. You get to see throws on the move, awkward throws. And so we've had to teach scramble technique to the guys and stay with the play because it's always going to be alive.
This kind of has nothing to do with camp, but I just wanted to ask you about it. When KJ and Damon both came back in the spring, they each mentioned Chris Carter and the guidance that he gave them. Did you guys, as a staff or as a program, try to bring Chris into the fold, and those guys find him on his own? Could you shed a little light on how he got involved in that process?
Yeah, I mean, Chris has been around the program. He, he's spoken to the team before, and I think those conversations were between Chris and the players. And I wasn't involved with those conversations, but obviously appreciate all his support. He means a lot to the program, and he's a good friend.
Second row right, Tony.
Ryan, you returned your 3 starting linebackers from last year. How much are those guys getting pushed from the young guys?
Yeah, there's good depth there. Guys are practicing hard at linebacker. Proud of the way those guys are running around, and they're trying to really practice tough, and that's been a huge emphasis point on defenses to be one of the toughest defenses in the country and the toughest defense in the Big Ten, and I think they're practicing that way. I think the young guys are flashing, they're running around. The good news for them is that they're all learning the defense for the first time, so they all kind of start at the same level. The experience level is different, but there's some talent there, and so just like any other position, if we can play depth, I think the guys believe that helps. It's not like guys are being territorial, although they want to be the starter. I think they understand they need each other. And, the more depth they have at each position, the stronger their position will be, especially down the stretch.
Do you have a pecking order there, a depth chart there yet?
No, don't.
Over to the right, Clay.
Do you still devote time to Michigan, or is that strictly during the season, or are you doing that now?
We are. Yeah, we are. We do it in the preseason. We do it in the spring.
And have you looked ahead at particular teams on this schedule?
Not yet.
Don't work? No.
Not yet. I mean, we do that during June and during May. We'll look ahead a little bit. But the first couple of weeks are just based on us trying to get better fundamentally and go against the defense. And then once we get into that third week, we start to kind of look ahead and start getting into scouts.
Front row right, Tim. Where do you stand right now, Ryan, with Thayer Munford? What is his situation? I know you don't get into injuries, et cetera, but how concerned are you that he may not be able to answer the bell season opener?
No, I'm not concerned. No, he's been practicing well. He's practicing hard. He's got some volume control, but I think Stud and our trainers have done an excellent job of making sure that we kind of ease him back in. But he looks strong, and so far he's had a good camp.
And the other thing, a little update on Chase Young. Is he obviously he played last year with 2 sprained ankles, or 2 dinged up ankles most of the year and stuff. What are you seeing that's different about him right now? A fresh Chase Young.
Mature, very mature. As a leader, he gets up in front of the team, talks to the team. Probably I feels like almost every other practice. He's the voice of our defense right now. That's what I feel. That's what I see. I see a guy who's practicing really, really hard and got a really mature approach, and he's shown a lot of leadership.
Hey, get him on this thing. Chris Olave,
you kind of discovered him, for want of another term. Do you tell your guys all the time, go out on the recruiting trail with your eyes wide open, not just focused on one guy? I mean, how do y'all kind of approach that?
Yeah, I think always you do that. You ask a lot of questions. You talk to high school coaches, who are the best players in the area. You talk to different people to find out, especially people you trust. But in recruiting, there's a lot of different skills. There's the communication, there's the, connection that you make, but there's also evaluation. And I think evaluating is really critical nowadays, and I think we did a great job of evaluating him. And I think that's one of the parts that sometimes is lost right now because, there's so many internet, sites where they rank guys and there's rivals, and so you can easily pull up rankings and figure out where guys are recruiting wise. But you gotta trust what you see, and you gotta evaluate guys, and you gotta ask questions of the coaches. And his coach, Coach Hauser, very respected guy. Had great things to say about him, his work ethic, the way he went to work every day, four-sport athlete, and you start adding those things up and checking the boxes. You got a chance.
Right next door, Bill.
What would you say, now that you've gone through and half of training camp, is Greg Madison's impact on this team so far on the defense? And he took very seriously the idea of being a coordinator because he doesn't have a position group per se. What would you say his impact has been?
Yeah, he does meet with the outside backers on a regular basis, so he does have a group. I think his experience is critical for us. It's making sure that fundamentally we're sound, that we fit the runs correctly, that the back end's fitting in with the front end, that we're pursuing to the ball, and that our fundamentals are really, really strong. And that's something he's preached for a long, long time, and he's done a really good job of that since he's been here.
And on the offense, how much are you guys doing the non-shotgun snap, the snap from under center, and what kind of impact do you think that will have? How often will you use it, do you think?
We've messed around with it a little bit. We'll see. Still kind of evaluation phase. You do some things here and there, but still we'll mostly be in the gun this year.
Something though. What do you think it adds?
There's a couple of things sometimes you can do in short yardage, just if you need it or in certain situations. But it's not something that we've done in the past year, and I don't know how much we're going to do it moving forward. But it's something you always look at every year.
Right next door, Joey.
You mentioned you're hoping to have a QB decision by Monday. Do you plan to do any sort of preseason depth chart or that sort of thing?
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, I think there's still some battles that'll go into the third week, so probably won't have a whole team depth chart. But after this week, we'll probably have a good idea where guys are. Hopefully we'll have captains by then, and that'll be throughout the weekend. So should have a good update on Monday.
As far as your running backs as well, Marcus Crowley lost his black stripe the other day. What have you seen from him in his first camp?
He's tough. He's big, he's strong, and he's tough. He's still learning the offense. He'll still make some freshman mistakes here and there, but I like his toughness. He'll stick his face on people. He practices really, really hard. Just needs more experience, needs to stay focused and make sure that he knows what he's doing when he's out there. Because when he does, he runs hard and he's physical.
Do you have any update on Austin Mack, too?
Nothing new, no.
Front row left, Doug.
I have some questions just running through the receivers a little bit. You said when you get Austin back, that'll help with Z. Is he a Z now, pretty much?
Well, that's where he started. He has the ability, as you know, to play both. But he started there in preseason. He played some of that in the spring. And, that's where he'll start. But he can very easily go to X. He's played X for 3 years. So
Is any other motivation the idea that if you put Austin at Z, then you can have Ben and Austin as the two seniors on the field at the same time?
Yeah, I think it's good to have both those guys deserve to be on the field at the same time. So it's all about, how do these young guys step up. We want to have 6, maybe 7 receivers that play. So we want to roll guys. And wherever it fits and however that all fits in terms of those 6 or 7 guys, we'll kind of move those around. But, Elijah Gardner's been practicing really, really well. Jamison Williams is also, flashed at times. So that gives you 4 Zs right there with a lot of depth. And I think you'll see all of those guys play.
And I was going to ask that. So Garrett's at X.
Garrett is at X right now.
And so why is that the right fit for him?
Yeah, well, I think when you look at the X, you have Ben, you have Jalen Harris, and then you have Garrett. And I think, with the ability maybe to move Austin over there if you needed to. So now that gives you 4 guys over there. In our offense, anytime you get a one-on-one matchup on the X receiver, we feel like they should win in a one-on-one matchup. And those body types are usually the bigger body types, longer body types, and I think all those guys fit that.
we know Ben is Ben, and he's going to play. Are Garrett and Jalen fighting then to be that second guy?
They are. Yep. Yep. And it's been a good battle. I think Jalen's gotten better. I think Garrett's really flashed at times. So they're going at it every day. I think they'll both play, but they're both battling for that backup spot.
And we know the way you guys have run 6 receivers out there and rotated all 3 spots. With the experience that KJ has, KJ and Paris basically split H last year. Would it be possible could KJ play 75% of the snaps at H this year because he's such a veteran? Or would you prefer to really just roll guys and that whether it's CJ or Jalen behind him, they roll equally?
I'd prefer it to be 50-50. That's my preference. But I think KJ's strong. He's been here for a while. He's played a lot of football. And I think he can handle it. And if he gives us that much of an advantage over our next H, with CJ or with Jalen Gill, then he'll play more. I think KJ's pretty complete in terms of his skill set, so he can do just about everything. And I think in the end, it's just going to come down to how durable will he be late in the season, and can his stamina sustain throughout a game.
And Jalen and CJ battling behind KJ?
They are. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're both practicing really, really well, I think. CJ really good in short areas and winning one-on-one battles, and Jalen Gill's growing. Still makes mistakes here and there, but flashes too. So he's got a bright future. Just needs to keep working with Coach Hart and improving every day. But he's another talented young receiver we have.
I'd do that. I'd do every position group like that if we could, but I guess we should probably move on. That was fun. Thank you.
We don't have to move on.
Got time for a couple more. Third row left, Dan.
Ryan, it seems like you and the other coaches have really been preaching toughness a lot in these first couple weeks of camp. Just what makes that such a point of emphasis, and is it any more of an emphasis this year than it would always be, or is that just something that's always a big emphasis this time?
I think it's behind the screen, but it's tough love, and I think when you preach love as much as we've preached as a coaching staff, I think the toughness is the other part of that. This is a tough game. And again, not comparing any other team to this team right here. We just know that it's a tough game. We got to be tough. And now more than ever, our guys got to come together, and we got to be mentally tough, physically tough, emotionally tough. But then we got to love. And those have been the 2 messages. And then the last one has been about fighting. Our team's got to fight. And so we've been carrying that message, trying not to change it, trying to stay focused on those. And I think the guys are embracing it. I think we're tougher than we were practice 1, and we got to keep building on it.
Yeah, you mentioned the tough love, a fight till the end. It seems like those kind of been the 2 mantras you guys have been using on social media. Just kind of what made those the mottos of this year's team going into the season?
Well, I think the fight part of it is because this is a new staff, new team, and we need to prove ourselves. And when you're a heavyweight boxer, you got to fight every day. Someone's trying to knock you out, and you have to come swinging. And you can't show up without your hands up. You got to be ready to roll right from the first snap. And then you also got to learn how to take a punch. Somewhere along the line, when you go into a fight, you're going to take a punch. And how do we handle that? Are we able to handle adversity and not flinch when something goes bad? So talking about those things, and then the toughness part of it, I just think that's what it's going to come down to in the end, because I think we're athletic, I think we're fast, I think we're a good-looking team, but in the end, it's going to come down to toughness. There's going to be tough games on the road. There's going to be tough spots. Maybe it's really hot out. Maybe late in the season, it's a cold game in the rain. How tough are we really going to be? Because I know we're athletic and I know we're fast, but in the end, we've got to be tough.
Back row middle, Jared.
All right, Brian, one of these kind of weird questions that the head football coach occasionally gets. This week, the university applied to get a trademark, for the word "the." And I was wondering, in your role now as the head coach, as you've taken over, that's one of those reminders of the size of the university, the scope of the university. Can you just show us a little bit of what you learned about the lengths the university goes to protect those things, and how you have been instructed to go about that in your role? I don't know if you have a role in that, but what have you learned about that part of the university?
Well, I think the first time it really hit me was when I went on the road and went throughout the country, from the West Coast to the East Coast to the South to the North. And wherever you went, you had your Ohio State Block O on, and people, whether it was in the airports or hotels or whatever, it's the OH or Go Bucks. And you hear it constantly over and over again. And for my family members who wear it all over the country, they just say, I can't believe how many Ohio State people are out there. And I think it just goes to show you the range of what the Ohio State Buckeye Nation really has. And it's amazing to me that. And then also the loyalty and what it means in this area and the tradition. And so, it's obviously an honor to be a part of it. And yeah, I think sometimes when you sit back and look at, what an unbelievable program this has been over the years and what it means to the state of Ohio and then all of Buckeye Nation throughout the country, it really is amazing, and you have to appreciate that.
And I got time for one more. Far left, Heather?
Hi, back here. How are the quarterbacks splitting up the reps at the start of camp, and has it changed this past week?
Some drills we roll them, every 2-3 reps. Team drills, Justin's got a lot of reps with the ones, but we try to roll them the best we can and just kind of in and out. And if somebody makes a mistake, if somebody causes a fumble or turns the ball over or anything like that, they got to do a lap. If somebody has a penalty, they have to do a lap. So anytime that happens, a new guy goes in. But that's at every position. So we try to roll the best we can. But for the most part, when the ones have been out there, Justin's been with the ones.